Fabrizio Romano has dropped a Mikel Merino bombshell. Julian Timber is not in the squad against Bayern Leverkusen. And where rumours are concerned, where Gyokeres and Osimhen to Arsenal are concerned, the rumour mill keeps on rumbling. People, deluded, I'm back again. Big up yourselves, people. As we know, Arsenal are in the transfer window, or in fact, every club's currently in the transfer window as the new season begins next week. And we've still got a lot to do. Personally, I think we need a striker and a winger. I don't think we have enough depth generally. I don't think we've improved on the depth at this moment in time generally to give us the best chance of winning major honours next season. If you give me 30 seconds, I'll share my screen with you guys and we'll get straight into what concerns our football club. Now, as I said there, this headline has said Mikel Merino to Arsenal, Fabrizio Romano drops formal bid bombshell. Mikel Merino's move to Arsenal from Real Sociedad had stalled, with Fabrizio Romano, the Football News transfer reporter, having explained exactly what the delay is. Apparently, his switch seemed to be a formality to Arsenal just a week ago, and a lot's changed, and apparently little progress has been made in recent days, leading to anxiety among fans of the Emirates side who are eager to see him signed. Now, I think fans want to bring players in. The longer it takes, fans are going to obviously get ants in their pants and become a bit anxious, especially because of the last 2 seasons we've got the signing in early. But it says fans. Now, fans can, have an opinion. They can have an opinion. They can feel dismayed. They can be worried. They can be confident. They can be whatever. As long as it doesn't say anything here, the people in the boardroom, Mikel Arteta, the people that make decisions, and they haven't said anything. But if there is some relative confidence in that regards to get a deal done, I don't think there's anything to panic about. I think the title seems, more exciting than the actual facts. And when you break it down, apologies, where we look at for Mikel Merino, again, reports say he seems to be keen on the switch to Arsenal. Arsenal are keen on him, but he's not the only name on the list. Now, we'll get into it, but Zubimendi's been linked with Manchester United and Liverpool. Could that be something to spin the block on? I'm not too sure. It's been described as a slow window for Arsenal, and you could say that only California's walked through the door, bearing in mind there has been a Euros and a Copa America. Romano has now revealed that Arsenal have not even made a formal approach for the Spain international star yet, which is true. We haven't exactly bidded for the Sociedad man. We've heard personal talks. Big up my Turkish friends. Personal talks have been agreed. We hear he's keen on the move and Arsenal keen on him, but maybe we're dotting I's and crossing T's in that regards before we place a bid. So haven't learned anything. For now, my understanding is that negotiations continue. It's still all verbal with no formal bid, but for sure Moreno is waiting for Arsenal to complete the agreement with Sociedad. Bearing in mind he's got a year left on his deal. It's also about payment terms, the structure, more things to follow between the two clubs. Moreno wants Arsenal, so it's just on the clubs now. So apparently there's no reason to fear the deal potentially collapsing. Once again, people, his signing will be made for about 30 odd million euros, which would take our total spending to around 105 million euros. We've got California in the door. We assume Moreno's in the door, and David Raya's move from Brentford has become permanent. And we all know where Victor Osimhen and Gyokeres are concerned, we're still on the case. And actually, where you look at a young Charlie Patino, a young Brooke Norton-Coffey, who are 2 young players that didn't play in the US tour, you'd imagine they move on. Speculation until the window closes around Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, Aaron Ramsdale, and it's gone more or less flat and dead quiet, but Jacob Kiwior are going to continue in that regard. So let's move on. Reports in Spain have said Arsenal remain Mikel Merino's most likely destination, and it's likely a move will materialize in the coming days. Mikel Merino's personally endorsed the transfer, while Merino has discarded other clubs that were interested in signing him this summer. Apparently, Arsenal hold an ongoing interest in Mikel Merino as a central midfield remains a focus. The player is hugely admired by Arteta, but Arsenal are still exploring their options in the midfield market. Moreno would be keen to join if an agreement can be reached. So have we indirectly agreed something with his camp? No, indirectly. Not only what Sociedad want in terms of a fee, but how they would like that fee to be paid. And we've parked that off and we're exploring if other things are being done. I mean, we heard Zubimendi is keen to stay in Spain, or all that we heard. He's been linked with Manchester United, and David Ornstein has said he's been linked with Liverpool, and Liverpool are actually exploring a deal. Liverpool are exploring a deal to sign Martin Zubimendi for Real Sociedad as they work to strengthen Arne Slot's squad with a new number 6. Now, I'm not a Liverpool fan. I'm definitely not watching them in pre-season on a religious basis, but it seems like they're more possession-based focus, and they have brought in a couple of midfielders in the last couple of windows, but it feels like they need a 6. McAllister can play there, but I think you get a lot better out of him playing him further forward, and that's probably where Martin Zubimendi comes into it. Apparently, Liverpool are exploring the deal. We've seen this with Arsenal. We know he's got a release clause that would need to be paid in full, and it's all reliant on him potentially agreeing to such move. I'm sure Xabi Alonso will put in a good word for Liverpool on his behalf. Liverpool would also need to convince Zubimendi to leave, which a number of suitors from the Premier League and elsewhere have not managed to do so far. Zubimendi has previously attracted the interest of Arsenal and Barcelona, with the latter keen on the Spaniard as far back as last summer. We all know he won the Euros, people, and yeah, man, he's been linked. I'm meant to be logged in. I'm not quite sure why I haven't been logged in there, but fair enough, or better yet, logged out. But fair enough, you lot do your thing. Good thing we read what we needed to read there. Karl-Heinz set to leave Arsenal on loan to join Spanish side Real Valladolid until the end of the season. His salary will be covered by Valladolid. So again, we save a bit of money for him to be playing in La Liga and have top league experience. That makes 100% sense for me, if I'm completely honest. You imagine when he signed the new deal, he said, I want to go on loan. You'd imagine that's the natural path for him to depart Arsenal on loan. He has been linked with Barnsley and Charlton, with the greatest of respect to them. If you've got an offer to play in the top 5 league, and probably sunnier weather than Barnsley or South London, where Charlton are concerned, I can't begrudge him. So we wish him all the best. You're not going to get ahead of David Raya and Ramsdale, provided Ramsdale stays or if anybody else comes in. So once again, further confirmation that he'll obviously be moving on loan to Real Valladolid, people. Apparently, he had been close to joining League One side Charlton, but the move was hijacked. So from potentially playing in League One, which for a young, inexperienced player, it doesn't, to a degree, it doesn't really matter. It's professional football. From League One all the way to, you know, a top 5 league, La Liga, it's quite a good look, people. And yeah, man, I'm sure Ronaldo, who obviously owns Valladolid, him and Edu dotted I's and crossed T's in that regards. And at 22 years of age, the very fact of where you look at official games, he's played more for his country, Estonia, than Arsenal. Something needs to be done in that regards, people. So we'll have to watch that one there closely. Apparently, Timber is not on the bus ahead of the Bayern Leverkusen game, and he was rested for the game against Liverpool. Again, he's coming back from an ACL injury. He has obviously got a lot of minutes loaded into him in the Bournemouth game and the games around then. We have to tread carefully where Timber's concerned. I'm pretty sure I speak for every Arsenal fan when we say, hey, it's obviously concerning, because we didn't expect him to be over all his ACL issues and him to, we have to look at it and delicately and tread carefully, but you would have expected him to, kind of be involved. But at the same time, where there's no need to take a risk, don't take one, in it really. And you could argue he's probably even played more minutes in pre-season than he would have had, several players not been participating at the Euros and simply put, or Copa America, and not having the strongest squad available for the pre-season preparations, people. So I'm not going to panic yet. Apparently, Chelsea have turned their attention away from Victor Osimhen, according to reports in Italy, people, and that obviously could help Arsenal. It seems like Chelsea are about to sign Atletico Madrid striker Samu Omodoyon. Forgive me for mispronunciation. He's a Spanish under-21s international. From the highlights, he does look good and look raw. Has been linked with Arsenal before. Both clubs in Arsenal and Chelsea were linked with Julian Alvarez. Ironically, he seems to be going to Atletico Madrid. And whether it's PSG, Chelsea, Arsenal, or Saudi Arabia, the links towards Victor Osimhen don't seem to go away. Apparently, we're still monitoring Gyokeres as well as Osimhen. Again, I'm very pessimistic on us signing Osimhen, but who knows, people. It says Chelsea have moved away and stepped away from that, which could obviously be a spring in our steps. Don't forget to smash the like button and let me know your thoughts, because completely off the rip, people, I want us to go back in for Zubimendi. I want us to try and get Gyokeres. I believe we need a striker. We need one. I don't think we're going to die if we don't get one, but I think there's a limit we can take this existing options. I like Kai Havertz. I think he's done well. I think he's the first name on the team sheet where the striker position is concerned. But at the same time, he did it harshly. Well, not even harshly, the truth. You did it for half a season, and I expect you to score goals again. But A, how many? And 2, will you? I can't answer that in my heart. I'm a big fan of Gabriel Jesus in the squad, but his injuries are one thing. His goal scoring exploits is another. Eddie Nketiah might stay around because of potentially Gabriel Jesus probably getting injured at some point this season coming, and also because at this moment in time it doesn't appear that people are meeting Arsenal's asking price. But Kai Havertz, Eddie Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus, I know football isn't just about names, and we did get 91 Premier League goals. Does that fill you with any confidence that they'll make the difference and turn some defeats into draws, some draws into victory, ultimately 3 points, more points on the board? And had we had anything from 3 to 6 points on the board last season, on the last day of the season, what are us Arsenal fans celebrating or talking about? I'm not too sure in that regards. Apparently, Arsenal made a decision where Gyokeres is concerned after assessing transfer plans. Arsenal is seemingly pressing ahead with their attempts to sign Gyokeres ahead of the transfer deadline. I'm a bit pessimistic. Clearly, we want a striker if it makes sense. We've been linked with Gyokeres as well as Osimhen. We tried to get Sesko. We ultimately turned away from it, but we did indirectly try for Ivan Toney. It didn't come to anything. So there is a willingness, but is it a necessity? For me, it kind of is if we want to win titles, but is it a necessity? Are we going to go for Gyokeres without finally, not to go over it again, sorting out the futures of the Reece Nelsons, the Eddie Nketiahs, the Kiviors, the Ramsdales, someone like Zinchenko with 2 years left on his deal, the young players in Charlie Patino and Brook Norton-Cuffy? Surely we have to deal with that and probably get Mikel Merino or a central midfielder over the line, and then maybe turn our attentions to either an inside forward, a striker, or both. I'm not too sure in that regards. Oh, sorry, people. Why did that come off screen? That's annoying. That was an accident in that regards, people. Sorry, things happen. We're gonna go again. Don't worry. Where Reece Nelson is concerned, the Athletic have said Nelson was on where Leicester's concerned. Reece Nelson was another they inquired about, but it quickly became apparent he would be beyond their budget. They've spoken about Fabio Carvalho, who scored a great goal in pre-season for Liverpool. But West Ham, they've won and got Somerville. They were linked with Reece Nelson early. That's gone away. Leicester, maybe they could get you on loan. Whether Arsenal want to do that's another thing. Seems like Leicester's gone away. Brighton links were there going into the summer window, have gone quiet, and I'm sure indirectly some football clubs have inquired about Nelson. Nelson's clearly made clear he wants to leave, but do Arsenal let him go without bringing in another body in wide positions or someone able to do that? I'm not too sure how you look at that or where you would look at that, folks. Personally, we were linked with Javier Guerrero from Valencia. He's in talks, ironically, to sign for Atletico Madrid for 21.4 million, which was not the price quoted in January. We'll have to see. The Athletic have also spoken about Aaron Ramsdale. We all know his future probably lies away from the club, and he has returned to training. Apparently, you look at the vast majority of clubs, they've all got established number one. So unless they kind of follow Mikel Arteta in, disrupting a certified number one and bringing in someone like David Raya, who he deems is better, then it's probably a myth. Eddie Nketiah, as we know, it comes down to the price tag, essentially. He will be behind Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, and Trossard probably in the pecking order. Or Trossard's a weird one. On ability and what we want to see on the pitch, yes, but sometimes there are games for an organic striker versus a false nine. We all know Marseille have had a series of bids rejected, people, and it hasn't met Arsenal's asking price. Apparently, Arsenal's insistence on landing a fee closer to their valuation may prove prohibitive, but at this stage, a move appears the best solution for all parties, provided the move can happen. Ivan Toney's return to training at Brentford. He has not signed for anyone. He has been relinked with Manchester United. Although for all the Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, even Man City, I know all the teams that were linked with him, nobody's bidded for him at this moment in time. Gerard Moreno, who's a journalist, has said, we haven't seen the last chapter of the Nico Williams saga yet. I'm sure Barcelona fans are hoping they get that done. It appears Barcelona are the front runners for his signature. He's been linked with PSG as well as Chelsea and obviously my football club, Arsenal. And, if you can't get a striker and you bring me Nico Williams or Pedro Neto, mainly Nico Williams, I can kind of maneuver with that. One player or attacker who could be leaving Arsenal, apparently young forward Nathan Butler-Adeji is wanted by Belgium duo Standard Liège and Oppen in a permanent transfer at 21 years of age. Not going to get a look in the first team. Been on a couple of loan spells. It makes sense. Belgium's a good league, a good sort of playing level. Standard Liège is one of the bigger teams, respectfully to Eupen, because everyone knows about them, but one of the bigger teams in Belgium. It makes sense, people, and I'm not sure how much Arsenal will get in a transfer fee, but it doesn't make sense to hang around. Finally, people, Zinchenko has changed his shirt number. He's wearing the number 17 that Alexis Sanchez once wore, people. Again, the man himself on the shirt change has said he's obviously gone from number 35, I believe. Was it number 35? I don't know, but it's number 35 to number 17, and it's fitting that, he's got the same number as Cedric. He's not held in the same regard as Cedric, but probably Arsenal fans probably want him through the door. The number 17 is a very special number to me. It was a number I wore as a young player, and I've always requested to wear 17 when playing for my country. With 17 being free since Cedric left, I asked if I could change, and thanks to everyone at the club for supporting me. It's also very important to say that if anyone has brought this season's shirt directly from the club with my name and 35 on it, they can get an exchange to my new number, which is good because you don't want people to waste money. What I will say, Zinchenko, unless it's fellow Ukrainians that for obvious reasons, identify with you. Probably the shirts you bought for your family members and, you know, just all of that kind of stuff. If you don't fall under them categories, I don't think anybody's buying a Zinchenko shirt. No one's buying a Deluded Gooner shirt, but I don't think anyone's buying a Zinchenko top, if I'm honest with you, in the day and age where you could. I always advocate putting your own name on the back, but where you've got Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, Declan Rice, Gabriel Jesus, even, you know, many of other players. People probably would have bought more Smith Rowe shirts. You know, I don't think Zinchenko has anything to worry about that. But banter aside, that's a nice gesture. And, you know, if number 17 makes you put in some better performance to prove some Arsenal fans wrong, if you do stay, do your thing, really. In that regards, let me know your thoughts on the transfer news, potentially Timber not being involved against Bayern Leverkusen. If you've got any opinions on Zinchenko in general and his shirt number, let me know, folks. And don't forget, at the time of making this vid, we will be playing Bayern Leverkusen at 6 p.m. UK time. I'll be doing a watch along from an hour before, so 5 p.m. UK time. So yeah, when you're done watching this and you've had a butchers of the other content, join me for the watch along. And don't forget to follow on my second channel, DG Sports Views. We're going to get some more neutral content and general football thoughts parked off over there. And follow on all the other platforms, people. Links are in the description. Most importantly, one love for you lot tuning in. Peace.
Always like